continuous news coverage of AB5.
Basically. It's true. We should put that in.
Aaron, if you have that sound effect.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Matterhorn Business Development here. My name is Neil Winteregg. I'm joined with my sister Abby Johnson. And we are here today to continue our breaking news coverage of the AB5 disaster that is happening in California. So the reason we're doing this video is, in all honesty, when I made an AB5 video about 3 or 4 months ago, we made our first video talking about AB5. We really didn't know that much about the bill other than the fact that it was going to be a disaster. And then come January 1st, it is a disaster. And then we started getting all kinds of emails from people with links to articles talking about how bad it is in California. We started getting some pretty heartbreaking comments on that video from people losing their jobs, not knowing how to support themselves and going to disability. And when I see stuff like that, it really makes me bad. So we did a follow-up video on that. And then we've been getting links and articles sent to us. And so I wanted to talk about who is actually being affected by this bill, because some people wanted their own personal greed. And, you know, I just want to say this isn't a political video.
And that's the thing, is this started as like Uber and Lyft need to treat their people better. And that's fine. We aren't talking about Uber and Lyft, and we keep getting comments about that. It's not about Uber and Lyft. It's about the real people outside of Uber and Lyft who are being affected by this. And I think the other point that we wanted to make, if you're not in California and you're like, oh, sucks for California, losers, this could be coming for your state too.
In fact, this has kind of become a mission for us to actually spread the word about this bill to everybody outside of California. We're in Florida. Okay, I'm in Florida. I don't do any business in California.
Other side of the country.
Yeah, I mean, I don't live in California. I have clients out there, but it doesn't affect me. This bill doesn't affect me. But people are sitting there saying, oh, you know, this is making political statements, this, that, the other thing. Listen, this has nothing to do with that. This has to do with your state and your city and your town, and making sure that a bill like this gets repealed so that nobody else can follow it. New Jersey has already started the process. Even before AB5 became official, New Jersey started the process. So let's look at who has actually been affected and some personal AB5 stories about this. And I have a website here. It's titled AB5 Personal Stories. There's actually a Facebook group called Freelancers Against AB5. These are stories from them. We found out about this because
on Twitter, you know, we had all of our 7 followers on Twitter, but I do post our videos with the hashtag, just throw it out there, and I post our AB5 video, and at Kirsten Ryder, we'll put it up here. She replied, so thank you for sharing this website with us about these personal stories regarding AB5.
So let's just take a quick peek at how this has affected different industries, not just ride sharing, and let's look at what the real effect is for your state and for where you might be. So this is California. Everybody knows Hollywood. Actors, that's where you go to be famous. Well, actors are actually one of the people that are now losing jobs.
Wow.
Ridiculous, right?
And probably like not like Tom Cruise is missing out on anything, but like the up-and-comers, extras.
Yeah, I mean, well, here it is.
Like
it says, Natalia Michelle says, I'm an actress and director located in LA and San Diego. I already have been seeing a significant decline in my work, and many of the projects I was working on let me go. I'm really upset about it and still trying to figure out how I can pursue the career I love while having a flexible schedule. Some of these other actors are talking about movie jobs actually leaving the state because they have to, because they can't actually take care of everybody. Animal shelter consultants.
Wow, that's very specific.
Yeah, so this actually says that this person was working with the state and with the governor to actually help with setting up no-kill shelters. And then all of a sudden with this happening, they got dropped off of this. And now they have no further work to be able to do in that in California. Architectural designers. My brother actually works in this type of a field as a designer. Imagine he actually can't be a designer on a project for a contractor.
Or at least is after so many in a year. Like now he has a contractor he does multiple jobs with throughout the year.
Yeah.
And he would be SOL at this point.
Pretty much. Bloggers, art therapists, authors. Here is a author, Jacqueline Diamond, says, the enormous growth of indie publishing has fueled an entire landscape of independent contracting of men and mostly women who work from home as cover artists, formatters, editors, proofreaders, etc. And then it says that these authors hire virtual assistants, and the virtual assistants actually do research for them, manage their social media, etc. And now they can't do that. And in this particular one, she says that many of these independent contractors have day jobs and need extra money or are caring for family members who are handicapped or elderly themselves. This is now taking away an income stream of people who can't go out and get a full-time job. So now what are you making them do? The state is now making them go to social programs or Medicaid type programs, disability, when before they were able to work for themselves and make some extra money, they now can't. Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Brand advertising and design professionals. Cartoonists. Oh, this was interesting.
Yeah.
So this guy, RL Crab, says, I may end up being a part-timer if we can't get an exemption, but that will mean as an employee, my cartoons won't be just my opinion anymore. I value independent voice as much as the income I receive. And another one of these is basically saying that as a cartoonist, when you get hired by one of these places as a full-time or a part-time employee, you don't own your cartoons anymore. You don't own your art anymore.
I'm like a big...
And you're an artist.
I'm an artist. I'm a big advocate for artists, and that just pains me to hear that this is affecting them. Like, art should be something that you're free to do, and I believe very much in artists owning their own art, and especially in the state of California where there's so many artists of different kinds. I've heard that this is also affecting musicians in that way, or musicians who want to, just set up in a cafe and play every Friday night or every Thursday night aren't being able to do that anymore.
Here's another crazy one. Elizabeth M. Adger. AB5 is why I had to pack up my very ill husband with stage 4 cancer and autistic son and leave the state. There is no way I can take care of our family and work a traditional job. I've always worked for myself and paid my taxes. I was terrified of becoming homeless. Again,
oh my God.
These are real life stories from people that have had their ability to take care of themselves and work for themselves independently. Overnight, literally from December 31st to January 1st, you're now being told that you can't make money the way that you were before, and you have to go and get an actual job because of the state-run programs, etc. And what drives me crazy, and this is where I said earlier, this isn't about Democrats, Republicans, this, that. This isn't about politics. This is about people who voted this bill into place. So I want to read you a couple of comments from people calling me out for my AB5 bill video. So this person says it will, now I'm sorry to say some of these people's grammar is not the greatest, so I might be paraphrasing. I think this guy is trying to say it will be preventing companies from abusing their contractors, giving them better benefits and a chance to be full-time employed. Okay, well, let's look at this. You're now having a person who does not want to be full-time employed now being forced into being full-time employed when they can't work, they have family that are sick that they have to take care of, and now they no longer have that choice. So you're saying that companies are abusing their contractors.
But then that person has made that choice to be a contractor.
That person made that choice to be a contractor. And now, because you are tired of somebody taking advantage of you, you're gonna harm every other independent worker in the state because you didn't have the guts to go out and maybe work somewhere else, okay? And I know that's not a popular take, okay? But it's the truth of the matter. Because you are upset with how Uber and Lyft operated, you decided that every profession in the state had to be damaged because you weren't able to take care of yourself. So the point of all of this is that this isn't about, one company or one organization taking advantage of their contractors. And this isn't necessarily about political things, but what it is about is it's about public awareness and realizing that these bills and these types of things exist and they can be defeated by making the voices heard. And I feel like that when AB5 was coming up, from what I've seen, is that all of the attention was pushed onto Uber and Lyft and ride sharing, and one particular villain was made out to make everybody into agreement and support about this. And we fell into the trap and we didn't oppose it. And that's what I'm afraid of with other states, is not realizing that as public, we can make our voices heard about it and make sure that something like this doesn't continue to happen.
Keep your eyes and ears open for what's happening in your area. You know, we don't get into politics really, but this is something that is impacting so many people. And
we're about business, and this affects business.
Yeah.
This affects the ability.
Freelancers are business owners. You have to run yourself like a business, and we aren't freelancers, but that doesn't mean we aren't going to advocate for freelancers. We know it's a valuable service that freelancers are providing. We use freelancers in things, so we want to make sure that no more people are affected by this that have already been affected.
And I want to read out one of the comments that I got, because, I mean, it's a comment that's on our second AB5 video, who is AB5 Affecting. And somebody says, so drivers should not lobby for better pay, they should just quit. How often does Uber and Lyft pay the two of you? You are, period, disgusting, comma, both of you. So, first off, Uber and Lyft doesn't pay me a dime. I've never come out and been supportive of the practices that Uber and Lyft have by saying that they're some sort of great company, okay? Watch our other Uber videos. We laugh and make fun of them all the time for literally being a just wasteland of money.
A joke.
It's a joke. But here's the point about this, is that it is very true that if you don't want to work for Uber or you do not approve of their practices, then you do not have to work for them. And this bill was approved by making them seem like they are these terrible people and these terrible corporations. And then we slipped in all this other language that affected even the writers who were pro AB5 and slandering people who were against AB5, all of a sudden woke up and realized they didn't have a job anymore. So the point is, I'm not pro Uber and Lyft. I don't agree with their business practices or how they treat their drivers, but you are an independent contractor when you're working for Uber and Lyft. You don't have a place that you have to report to. You don't have a certain number of hours that you have to work. You signed up for that process and you became a part of it. And honestly, when Uber and Lyft started, it wasn't even about, hey, make this your full-time job.
Yeah, I was talking to someone, an Uber driver recently, and she's in college, and she was like, yeah, this is a great thing for me to just get some extra cash. And I've talked to many retired people who are like, I'm just bored and it's something to do. And I think that I might get yelled at for this, but if you're depending on that for your full-time job, you might need to look elsewhere because it's not viable as a full-time job. It really isn't. And
how much are they paying you? Because I didn't get anything. I want to cut.
That's private. I signed an NDA.
Oh, no.
But the thing is I'm sorry that that's harsh, but it might be time to find something else rather than taking down all these other people with you. Look at who you're affecting by with all your noise.
In-home nurses are now affected because of you didn't agree with Uber.
Christmas carolers.
Christmas carolers.
What are we gonna do without Christmas carolers?
That's literally one of the things from the AB5 personal stories, which we're gonna have linked below. Churches, comedians, people who produce commercials. One of these was a caterer who said that they usually do 50 to 200 guests for catering jobs, but once a year they have this massive job where there's 1,000 guests, and so they have to hire extra people for the night. You now have to you have to hire an extra 100 people, and make them an employee to be able to cater the job.
Wow, that's insane.
All because somebody was mad about how much Uber was paying them. Like, that is the problem in this. Uber and Lyft are not the problem. Okay? And these other people do not deserve to have their careers taken away because we tried to make Uber and Lyft the problem.
Yeah.
And so I agree with Uber and Lyft here. People are an independent contractor. When you work for them, you can work for them or not work for them. It is totally up to you.
I want to do one more story that we were actually, someone took the time to email in. So I'll keep this anonymous because it was sent to me privately. But he says, today we found out that my wife, who is an independent contractor as a Portuguese translator to a company, I'll leave the company out, lost her job. She lost her job. Both of us are in our 60s and would not find any other way to work. I cannot believe that we got caught up in AB5 and lost our income. In a short time, we will be homeless because of the cost of life in California. I don't know why I'm writing you, but I want to put it out there, what this is doing to us and others of our age. Wow. You're putting people on the street. You know, I would tell people, well, just leave California, but not everyone can afford. Like, moving is a huge cost. And
sometimes
it's heartbreaking.
You're upside down on your home. You know, you can't actually get out. I mean, there are so many different situations and scenarios that can come up. And it's really sad because we've also gotten a lot of responses of people talking about how they were about to open a business and now they're not. We've talked to businesses that had to get rid of all their contractors out of California. We talked to businesses that were about to open up an office in California and then stopped. It's actually harming the economy and harming new business and new creation coming into the area. Our little channel with 700 subscribers has thousands and thousands of views about AB5 because there's a lack of information that is sitting out there. So if you have more information on AB5, please email it to us.
Share it below, talk amongst yourselves below.
And make sure that nobody in your state and in your area is actually talking about this. If you need to write your senators and you need to write people in positions of power and just say, listen, I want to make sure that a bill like this does not affect me, then go ahead and do that. So there are some states that are really good for independent contractors, and you can do some research online and find out what your state defines an independent contractor as, because that is what started the whole AB5 problem. Was they changed the definitions overnight to what an independent contractor was. And other states like New Jersey and I think Massachusetts have already adopted almost an exact wording of California to their states. So you can do some research and find out. Check it out for yourself, and we will see you next time. Put your stories down below. We love to hear from you. Please subscribe to the channel. We're on a bid to hit 1,000 subscribers very soon. And we would love to have more of you following and listening and spreading this word. So we'll see you next week.